She was working at Sam's Club
Uh-huh.
at the time, and she would come in for lunch, and I would go, "Hey, I'm getting real busy. Can you please get up and help me?" And she would go with her coworker, with her supervisor, and eat,
Uh-huh.
relax. And me, I wasn't really. I kind of got desperate, and I was like, "Hey, can you please help me a little bit? Do some things
Man.
while you're on lunch," which she wasn't nice for me to
God,
say
you're
that.
just a romantic, aren't you?
Yeah.
When I had my first son, I mean, even when I was in labor
Mm-hmm.
already, he came in like
From work.
from
From
work.
work,
He
yeah.
came in like
Overdid it.
Yeah.
probably 30 minutes before he was
Oh
born
my
or
goodness.
something. So, he was working
Yeah.
so much. So it was like we were spending a lot of time. And then I was working another place at the
Yeah.
time.
Now you guys have 5 locations.
Yes.
How many employees do you have in total? Or is that a question for
Over-
Diego?
Over 100.
Over 100?
Wow.
How
employees.
incredible is that? Let's
Amazing.
you know what I mean? Like being able to create jobs, I feel is just such an amazing accomplishment. All right, man. Legacy Lounge. Sometimes people want to talk.
We have an incredible guest here.
What's up, brother?
The definition of the Legacy Lounge is the stuff that he's putting together. He's a great community leader. His story is amazing.
This is a very special episode number 46. We have Veronica and Julian, and in the back we have Diego, but we got the owners and founders of Sacramento's Super Taco, Veronica and Julian. Thanks for coming on to the lounge.
No, thank you
Thank
guys
you. Thank you
for having us.
Having us.
Awesome.
Pleasure to be here.
Yes.
So since 1991, so I was telling Diego when we had lunch today that when I was 17, 18 years old, I remember going to the first location off of Mac Road. You guys are in a different building now.
Yes.
Across
Yes.
the
Yeah.
You want to
lot.
move from that location, but didn't work. The landlord didn't kind of understand us. Well, I kind of told him, but he didn't really
Yeah.
want to kind of listen. But,
Yeah.
So we had to move. We moved to the front next to
Mm-hmm.
the street. Yeah.
But that just shows the longevity. I mean, I'm 41 now, so I mean, we're talking 25 years ago,
Mhm.
and it's pretty cool because Rene got to eat we ordered Super Tacos.
Super Taco.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like, man, that literally brought me back like memories of just being a kid and living in South Sacramento and going to Super Taco and eating your delicious food. So
Yeah,
like,
thank you.
how did this all come about? So let's just start from square one.
Well, since I was a little kid, I wanted to have my business, and then because I seen that businesses had a lot of supplies, and well, they had some supplies that I liked,
Mhm.
soda, cookies,
Yeah.
different things and that was plus they get to work, they get to be around food, and I love food, and that's why I'm in the business, and then they get to work there. So I was like, wow, plus they go on vacations. I would hear.
Uh-huh.
I was like, so in the future, when I grow up, I want to have my own business.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because, I was lacking some things, but.
Yeah.
So, I go, as soon as I can, I'm going to start my own business.
How old were you when you were having those type of thoughts?
Oh, man. It was.
Bring you way back.
It was 7 years.
Yeah.
I was 7 years old.
Man, that's
Were you living
vision.
were you living in Mexico or
I was living in Mexico at the
Mhm.
time because I came here when I was months old, and then they took me back. I came on a visa,
Mhm.
months old. They took me back. I spent another 6, 7 years over there. So and then we finally got my green card, all my paperwork.
Yeah.
It took years to get my. People think it's easy to get to be here in America, but
Mhm.
it actually takes years and years and a lot in money to get a visa or a permit.
Yeah.
Even though we're neighbors
Yeah.
and we're like family, we're kind of related neighbors, and we're part of each other's history. But anyways, it was real hard, and I remember going trips to Mexico City
Mm-hmm.
to get to try to get that, because see, I have the American dream.
Yeah.
What I see on TV, and I want to go to America. I want to be an American.
Yeah.
I want to have that American life.
Yeah.
Almost every, probably so many big percentage of the world or Latin America, they want to be American. They want to be American. They want to be part of America,
Yeah.
because they see it on TV.
Yeah.
And so there's like a part of their dream. So for me, that was like my dream, I want to, so since I was very little, I was already having dreams and I would make up stories about, being in the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
So finally, I got to come when I got all my paperwork done after waiting 7 years and spend some money with trips to Mexico City, which I love the trips because
Yeah.
that got me out of the village.
Yeah.
Where I was born. And then finally I got it, and then I came back, and as soon as I got to the U.S., I was like, man, this is my dream. This is what I was dreaming about. And I felt like I was in heaven, kind of. When I would drive my
Amazing.
bike around my neighborhood up north by Greeley, California.
Uh-huh.
I love that town and that area. When I was riding my bike, I remember I was like, I think I'm in heaven. I'm in
Oh,
heaven.
that's
That's how I felt.
that's
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah, that's how I felt. So I've been, yeah. And I was like, okay, now work and go fight for my dream, work for my dream. And because I think it's possible, I was feeling it. So that's what I did. I tried to move to LA. That didn't happen. So I ended up here in Sacramento when I was, I knew Sacramento since I was like 14, 15.
Okay.
But I stayed full time when I was like 17.
Ah.
17, and then from there, I was like, got me a job. It was hard. It took me a while to get a job. And so I tell, people, young dreamers or young people that the first thing you got to do is, get on track, get a job, save money, and just feel, don't stop working.
Yeah.
That's one of the keys, save and don't stop working. And you can conquer anything and just have a dream and dream every day and have a dream and then it can come true.
So
Amazing.
when you moved out here, did you move to America with like your mom and dad?
Yeah, when I was here, it was with my whole family.
Okay.
5 boys, no 4 boys, 5 girls.
Wow.
A big family.
Wow.
So
Fun.
we were, it was a bunch of us in a GMC truck.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
would go to work, So we were farmers. As soon as I got here,
Mm-hmm.
it was rough. I mean, it was hard work, the sun,
Yeah.
the cold. Had to deal with that, and I was very young, and so they would take us to work in the farms up north, doing the peaches, taking care of the peach trees and picking them and prunes and all that stuff. And it was real hard. It was hard, but I will not change that out of my life. It was very hard. Sometimes I would a little bit kind of cry, but it was like, man, this is rough. This is hard. Thinking, about that situation, I would not, I would do it again. I would change
So
it.
give me an idea. I'm super curious. Like, were you like when you were working in the farms? Like, how many hours would it be, and how old were you? Were you like a kid?
I was a kid. I was 9, 10, 11.
Wow.
And they used to, have me work 8 hours a day. And so that was, tough.
Man.
And then I worked at the, and then I tell my employees and or team, people in my team, that we care a lot about, and that where I used to take my breaks when I was working over here in Dixon or Woodland. My breaks were on the ground, on dirt, hard rocks of dirt, and I was only like 12, 13 years old.
Wow.
Maybe 12, around 12.
Wow.
So that was my break. So, hey, break time. So I was to just lay on the dirt, rocks. Hard, and then it was 100 and something degrees.
Oh.
And it felt real good. I was so tired and wore
Yeah.
out that it actually felt good.
Yeah.
So I would just
Man.
put my cap on top of in my face. And I was like, man, one day I'm going to, and so I would tell people, older people, why don't you leave? I mean, this is rough. This is hard work. And they go, hey, kid, I tried, but this is all there is. I was like, no, there got to be something else out there. for anybody, anybody. And I go, I'm gonna try. As soon as I turn 18, I'm gonna try.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go solo.
Oh,
I want
man.
to leave the house. Yeah. I
Yeah.
want to leave my family, and, which was real hard because I'm very into family.
Of course.
And my mom and dad and my bunch of sisters and brothers.
Just curiosity on this. At what point did you learn English? Were you learning English before you came to the States, or
No. When I came in, in Greeley, I went to elementary. Wilson. I still remember that. Wilson
Woodrow Wilson.
Elementary.
Yeah.
Oh man, when I got there, it was like heaven. It was like, oh my God, this is beautiful. They feed you.
Yeah.
The schools are beautiful. Air AC.
Yeah.
AC heater. I mean, it was like it's a park. It's
Yeah.
like being in the park.
That's so awesome.
For me,
man.
because where I came from a village, a small village, compared to what I was like, man, this is so it took me a long time actually. So my parents would. So it took me a while to learn English. That was rough, and I hate that. That part it really hurted me for a while because. So my parents they would take me out and they go back to Mexico, but they kind of had a dream of going back.
Got it.
Oh, we're just gonna work, and that was many back in the day. I don't think now that mentality changed.
Yeah.
Before he was let's make some money, build a home, and let's go back.
Yeah.
That was the mentality of all Mexicans.
Wow.
But now suddenly it's like we're not going back.
No.
This is our new home.
Yeah.
I mean, we work, our family, we have kids.
Yeah.
We can't go back. And then the kids are like, I don't want to go back to your town.
You're like, we
Yeah.
got
I want
we got
them back to Mexico.
AC. We have AC in the school.
They
We got a
feed
park.
us. They feed us. We got a whole park, man. It was playing football. It was just like being in the park
Yeah.
every day.
Yeah.
On recess, and I was like, man, I love this. They used to the teachers to give us cookies with punch.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm in heaven. I'm in heaven. Go out and then so then when I was riding the bus, my bus used to drop us off and take us back, and then because we used to live in a labor camp, it was the
Yeah.
city of Greeley.
Yeah.
And we used to live all the farm workers used to live outside the usually outside the city.
Yep.
And this is still happening. Well, thank God those parts were the camps were pretty good. They were in good shape.
Uh-huh.
And then very liked them a lot. And then when I used to be on the bus, I used to ask my friends, or I go, hey, how long did it take you to learn English, man?
Yeah.
I'm not. It's taking me a long time.
Yeah.
But that was because they used to, take me out of school and take me to Mexico. I spent over there about 5-6 months.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't really happy
Yeah.
about. And then brought me back because it was seasonal work.
Yeah.
We used to do a lot of seasonal work.
Got
That's
it.
why. Yeah. So it
Wow.
took me a long time, and that was frustrating. It was not knowing the language, and you wanted to learn to blend in because you wanted to be American. You
Right.
wanted to be just like anybody, blending with everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man. Yeah.
So it was.
Now we want to hear your side. Let's get to the background with you as well. Yeah.
So we I met my husband. Well, I'm from LA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm from
Yeah.
San
Yeah.
Fernando Valley.
Uh-huh.
So, but I come from, my parents got divorced, so I was always moving in different places. My mom, for some reason, decided to move to Yuba City.
Uh-huh. Oh,
being
yeah.
in LA.
Uh-huh.
And I said, oh, I don't want to go to, I didn't even know
Yeah,
where Yuba
exactly.
City was. I was like, I don't know where Yuba City. And so I stayed with my grandma, but then I said, no, I want to go with my mom. And my last year of high school, I did it at Yuba City. So I
Mm-hmm.
graduated
Wow.
my last year of high school in Yuba City.
Yeah.
And during that time, I didn't like Yuba City
Uh-huh.
because being from the city and then
Yeah.
coming to the country, cows, and I would be like, I do not like this. I was like, I don't even know why I'm here.
Yeah.
But I
Yeah.
said, well, but I'm gonna finish my last year of high school, and my mom would say, go out with your friends. I said, no, I do not. I just didn't like it. I
Yeah.
just didn't like. I would be very, studying, doing my homework. I was a really good student.
Mm-hmm.
And then, there was a New Year's party
Uh-huh.
that year, and then my mom's like, no, you need to go. My friends were calling me, let's go to a party. There's
Uh-huh.
gonna be a New Year's party. I would say no, and I said, well, my mom's like, no, I'm gonna go take you. My mom dropped me off, at this,
That's
and
awesome.
that's where I met my husband.
Yeah, that's where we
Wow.
met.
And
That-
yeah, 19.
Thanks, Mom,
Yeah,
making you
thanks
go
to
out
that.
that.
What year was it?
91.
Man.
91.
91.
Yeah,
We opened in
January.
91.
January of 91, I met him.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
And yeah, and then
I
we
was
met
23 at the time.
there.
Yeah.
And we opened Super Taco
In September.
91 September 91.
Man.
I was 23 years old.
So an absolute whirlwind. You meet your future wife.
Yeah.
You're opening the Super Taco. It's a
Yeah.
lot
Yeah.
going on at the same
Yes.
time.
Yeah, it was.
It was-
And I was new in the
Wow.
business.
Uh-huh.
You know, my parent, I didn't come from a business family.
Yeah.
It was just, work, and farm work.
Yeah.
And, so I was like, so for me, it's like, no, I want to get into business.
Amazing.
So-
Tell me how, like, getting your foot in the door and you're able to open it up. So how did that come together, man?
Yeah, I moved to Sacramento.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to, it's either LA or Sacramento. And then I got here, but got an uncle here, Mike Guzman, that he let us stay in his house. And thank God for my uncle.
Yeah.
And he let us stay for months and years in his house in the south area.
Yeah.
Close by here. So I'm very related to this area.
Mhm.
And then from there, I started, and I go, okay, what kind of business? I go, I don't care what kind of business, but
Yeah.
then I see a lot of Mexican Americans had restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
So I go, I love food, maybe a restaurant. But I was like, I would want to have any kind of business, whatever it comes. I just want to be in control and have my own business. But the closest thing was a restaurant. So I go, and then plus my sisters were working at a restaurant. I was like, well, they got knowledge and I got the
Yeah.
drive and the passion. So I told them, hey, come with me,
Yeah.
become my partner.
Yeah.
So I was, so we bought a house after we moved from my uncle to, we bought a house off of Gerber in 99.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, I got a loan and I had savings.
Mm-hmm.
And I started looking for a place in the area.
Yeah.
Because the house was close to Mac Road, only
Okay.
5-10 minutes away. So I go, I'm gonna get a loan from there at Golden One, and then so I'm gonna start with my savings, and then the loan and then I found a spot on Mac Road, and I go, I'm gonna go for it. And I did it myself. I called the landlord. I go, hey, I want to open a business.
awesome,
and he said,
man.
yeah, let's. I was 23 at the time.
Yeah.
No business plan. You were just like,
No.
I just want to do this. Let's go.
Yeah, nothing like that.
Man.
And then what I did, well, I already have the owner of that. It was a deli, Jake's Deli, I think.
Okay.
They left a bunch of tables and they're set up already. So I go, I'm going to use that and just paint, and then later on add more equipment. And that's how it started.
That's crazy.
And with that, and
23 is young.
I was 23.
Seriously, man.
Yeah. Working from like 9 to 10 every day. I would take like 2 days off out of the month.
Mm.
And the rest of the days I open to close.
Oh my
So a lot of
goodness.
days I would not see the sun or feel the outside.
So-
So I would ask the customer, hey, how's the day? How's it outside? You're like, well, it's kind of sunny or windy. I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. Just to get an idea, how was it? Because
Yeah.
I would not leave that place.
Oh
for
my
the whole day
goodness.
till 9 or 10.
So I'm guessing, this is a question for you. I'm guessing that work ethic that he's got, and I want to hear your work ethic and part of your story, but it's probably not a surprise that it's all trickled down to your 3 sons.
Yeah,
Right?
I think so. I think, because I always had to, work and go to school. And I tell my kids sometimes I had like 2 jobs because I moved from Yuba City, then I moved to Sacramento. And I went to Sac City, and I would
Mhm.
juggle going to college and having sometimes 2 jobs.
Wow.
Because we dated for 3 years.
Yeah.
For 3
Yeah.
years. And then, so I tell him, it was, always working. I was always working.
Wow.
Man.
So, and then I would go help him, and he's like, can you come and help me? And I would go help
No,
him whenever I
it was funny because I thought she would come in she was working at Sam's Club
Uh-huh.
at the time, and she would come in for lunch, And I would go, hey, I'm getting real busy. Can you please get up and help me? And she would go with her coworker, with her supervisor, and eat, relax. And me, I wasn't really. I got desperate, and I was like, hey, can you please help me a little bit? Do some things
Man.
while you're on lunch, which it wasn't nice for me.
Oh, you're just a romantic, aren't you?
Great.
I'm curious too. I want to make sure we cover all bases here, but like, you open this restaurant, like I'm guessing you're doing everything kind of on the fly. Like you don't have like a list of recipes. Like, how did you find your cooks? Were you cooking? Like, how did you create the menu? Like, what did that all look like?
Well, you got to get a team. You have to. Me, I got all that from my sisters.
Nice.
And then I left food, so I got from my family and my own recipes, and then what they knew, because they had some recipes from other restaurants, and their own personal. So we we use that to start, and then as we were going. I started changing things. Me and Veronica were like, hey, let's do this our own way. Let's put it our own touch.
Yes.
So the menu was changing. That's
Okay.
it. But I recommend somebody who starts from scratch. You gotta have somebody that cooks good food or got a good recipe.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll be hard.
Oh, yeah.
For anybody like me, I had my two sisters. They were great prep worker, super. They knew all the positions in a restaurant. Cook, prep, and run the front. And so me, at one time, I was just running the front, and being the manager and running the front. And, and taking care of deposits and supplies and everything. So yeah, you got to have a team.
Yep.
You got to have some background on what I recommend people whenever, like, if you ever want to open a restaurant or something, go work for another restaurant that you like.
Yeah.
Or maybe
nice.
one or two.
Yeah.
And then or hire people from that got a good menu, a good recipe, good cooks, and then start your own business. Don't start from zero. Because I mean, I don't think it's going to get nowhere.
Oh, wow.
There has to be a menu, a good menu, and an experience behind that.
Yeah. Let me ask you. You open this up. You're kind of on the fly. You obviously have a good team, but what is one thing that you experienced that you weren't expecting? Like maybe that first year of opening, that you're like, whoa, I wasn't ready for this. Was there any hurdle like that you can think of?
Yeah, there was. The equipment. I started. The equipment was very poor.
Yeah. You said
because
that.
of my budget, and it was a lot of hours of working.
Yeah.
A lot of hours. But you do it with a lot of love, a lot of passion.
Yeah.
And that's your dream. It was a dream for me. I was living my dream, so I was like, whatever it takes.
Would you do anything different that first year?
Maybe maybe hire a professional manager. Maybe at first, hire a better, hire people with experience, see if that works.
He basically said, "I'll fire myself from up front and get somebody else."
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Basically,
awesome, man.
Yeah, you got to do that.
Yeah, seriously, man. That's awesome.
You could have, sorry to cut you off, but you could have probably saved time, right? If you had that position, you could have had less headaches. And not everyone has the luxury when they're 23 years old starting a restaurant. And when I say luxury, I'm specifically talking about money. Right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it's just, you kind of just have to make do with what you have.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Because obviously it worked, because now you guys have 5 locations.
Yes.
How many employees do you have in total? Or is that a question for Diego?
Over 100.
Over 100?
Wow.
How incredible is that? Let's just
Amazing.
you know what I mean? Like, being able to create jobs, I feel, is just such an amazing accomplishment.
Yes.
But just the longevity of it all.
Wow. That's so
and
impressive.
a lot of them, we have a lot of employees that have been with us for, over 15 years.
That says a
Wow.
lot. That says a
20
lot.
years. Yeah, so we have really good people.
how long did it take before he got you out of Save Mart over
Sam's Club.
Sam's Club? Excuse me.
Well, when we got married,
Yeah.
I still, kept working because
Yeah.
and then I got pregnant
Uh-huh.
with my oldest. So till I had him, then I stopped working.
Got it.
And then I kind of tell you, hey, I need your help. I mean,
You
because
have
she's
to-
real good. I mean,
Yeah.
even though it wasn't her, she wanted to go to college and get a degree in maybe law enforcement or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But and then I go, hey, but you. So she's like real good. She's like the other pillar of Super Taco, where just to support me, and she's like the best. I mean, I couldn't ask for a better a partner, because she, I mean, like real runs the back real good.
Yeah.
I mean, the kitchen, the front.
Mm-hmm.
She's very smart, and she's willing to work, like put in the hours,
Amazing.
even more than me. Sometimes I'll run out of gas, and she's still going. And I'm like, well, I'm gonna go to bed, and it's like, no, I gotta finish this.
Wow.
So she's like, one of the reasons we're still in the business, because she's 100% behind the business, and she's very smart and a hard worker, disciplined. I wish I had her discipline.
Oh man. Yes.
So that's one of the
Yes.
secrets from Super Taco is my wife. Veronica.
Man.
That plus the employees too, when they see her come in or when they talk to her, they really listen and
Yeah.
and respect her, because it's like, everything. You're like a master. You're like, and then not just by talking or is by action. She
By
does it
example, right?
by example. I
Yeah.
mean, she's the me and her are we just do this is how you do it. We prove to them that we're willing to do whatever it takes to run.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And I'll say this, like, no matter if you're talking about your employees or your kids, people see it, they experience it, they notice it when you have just relentless, time and effort to put towards a business like that. It doesn't go unseen. And I guarantee we'll be able to talk to him when we bring him on here, that's trickled down to the family, because that work ethic is just unmatched. And you can't even as a kid try to complain about being tired when you see your parents doing what you guys are doing.
Yes.
So that's amazing. You guys should be extremely proud to be that example.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
What do you think is some of the biggest differences now of being an owner of 2025? What are some of the biggest differences now versus back in, let's call it, the 90s?
Wow.
That's a good one, Chris.
Man, that was a good one.
Well, like let me I guess kind of
Yeah.
like I'll even dial it down even more. One question I had, like, because as you're painting this picture, like I'm like just thinking about it, like 23 years old, just kind of using whatever equipment and tables and then adding to it, and you got your sisters. You're pretty much just kind of like figuring it out as you go. One of the questions I would have is like, how did you make people know about your location? Because it's like that's a part of it. Like, so my question is, what was that like? Like, when you open your doors and you guys had your menu all prepared, and was it busy from the start, or did
No.
you have to work to get that
That was a
way?
good one. Yeah, that's
Uh-huh.
a good one, because it took us 3 years.
Mm.
3 years. I don't know how much I was getting paid. Maybe I was getting paid $1
Mm.
per hour or
Yeah.
less.
Seriously.
So it took us 3 years, and after the third year, I wanted to quit. I wanted to stop, and then maybe wait a year or two, and then open another location and try again.
Try again. Got it.
Because I ran out of gas. It was just very little money, not enough customers, and it was like, I'm tired. I mean, this is not my dream. I mean,
Yeah.
I love it, but we're barely making it.
Yeah.
We're just paying the bills, and so I told my wife, let's sell the business. Let's sell Super Taco.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, well, okay, let's think about it. Yeah, let me think. And then she was the one that was, she was like the accountant,
Mm-hmm.
saving the money and take care of bills and everything. So she was like, you know what? I kind of figured out that if we sell it, we're not going to be able to pay our bills, the mortgage,
Wow.
car payments.
Wow.
Because right now we're borrowing for the money.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a secret in business that sometimes you can use your vendors as banks a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you have a business, if you love it and respect it, you can take some out and then put it back.
Yeah.
The problem is when you just take out and you don't put it back, you don't pay back the business. That's when you kind of run into
Yes.
trouble. If I go to a trip in Las Vegas, blow all this money, $10,000, and it's like, and I don't put it back in a week or two. Well, at the end of the month, I'm going to be in trouble.
For sure.
So I never did that, But so I told my wife. So my wife goes, you know what? We can't sell it. I think we. So the good thing that the buyer, the guy that was selling, still remember his name, Jose. He was slow. He was kind of a slow buyer.
Yeah.
So that gave us time to think,
Ooh.
to really calculate everything. So we said, Jose, we cancel. We cancel. We're not going
Oh
to sell
my
it.
gosh.
Yeah, we're not going to. And it was only like for $22,000 or 28,000, I think. We were going to sell it because I was desperate. I want to get out.
Man.
But and then me and her decided. I go, you're right. If you think, yeah. So what what we did is like, what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take my time.
Yeah.
Take day by day. Take it slow. Don't be desperate. Do your job. Keep doing what you're doing, but relax more. Or cut down my
Ooh.
hours.
Ooh.
And that was the key for me to stay alive. For us to stay alive.
Yeah.
That move. That is like, okay. So what I did, instead of work opening and closing, I would leave around. I would get there at 10. Sorry, I had my crew opening
Mhm.
after 3-4 years,
Mm-hmm.
and I had some closers. So that's one of the keys in business.
Mm.
Have an opener and somebody that opens and someone that closes.
Yeah.
But some people, it's hard to do for a lot of business owners. It's hard to do because they don't trust nobody.
Yeah.
Oh, my key, my money.
That's it.
No.
Yes,
So it was like, I'm not ever
so
doing
true.
So they spent about 20, 30, 40 years and they still won't trust nobody.
Yeah.
But you gotta trust somebody.
Yeah.
You gotta trust somebody because otherwise, how are you gonna make it? How are you gonna reach the finish line or get to that level where you want to go? So I'm gonna trust somebody. I mean, whatever. I'm gonna trust my crew. I'm gonna trust my people. So I would get there later on after my third, fourth year. I relaxed and I go, I'm going to change my schedule and then take my time and still follow my dream, but just take my time. And then, so I would get there at 10 and leave around 2 or 3 and just go have fun. And they get home, help my wife. Sometimes we would work the same hours. So we would get home and we would prepare dinner for the boys.
Yeah.
We had 1 or 2 boys already, and so then play with them, and then so it was family time for me. It was me and Veronica were always it was like family. You gotta have the family time.
Sounds like that's probably saved your whole life, like in the business as well, right? Was that a big change? Were you super happy for that adjustment?
Yes, because I think that's because he would be like, when I had my first son, I mean, even when I was in labor already, he came in like
From work.
from work. He came in like
Overdid it.
Yeah.
probably 30 minutes before he was
Oh,
born
my
or
goodness.
something. So he was working so much. So it was like we were spending a lot of time, and then I was working another place at the time. When I came back, and I said, no, we're just gonna have to work sometimes the same time, or sometimes you could go in the evenings, and I think that made a change. Yeah,
That's awesome.
Even when the hospital, I wasn't really there. I got there the last hour or whatever. Her supervisor was there.
Oh, wow.
from
This lady, supervisor, great, beautiful woman. She was there, supporting her
That's
instead
amazing.
of being there.
That's
So I was
amazing.
kind of a lot of overdoing it.
Yeah.
That's what happens to a lot of business owners. We overdo
Yep.
it, and then we forget about our partner, your wife, your kids, and life. And so you don't want to do that. I recommend that whoever goes into a journey or follows a dream, don't lose control of the most important things, which is, health, your family and life, and especially your don't lose control of that, because I see that a lot of business owners that are following their dream, we lose it, and then we just focus on that dream and forget about your wife, your kids, and your life and your family
I
overall.
wish
So,
you would have. I was spoke to you earlier in my career, man. It's so because here's the thing: we spread yourself so thin. It's in an effort to provide for everything
good,
for the
yeah,
family.
to do
So it's
good.
coming out of the right place.
Yes.
But when you're spread so thin and stress is high and you're extremely tired, that's the breaking point. That's when you wanted to quit, right? Like that's the breaking point. And I joked about it, in our industry is like once every couple of years, I'm ready to quit everything. Like I just hit the breaking point, and it's because I never put so much time and effort into making sure that I was in the best spot so I can be in the best spot for my family. So I wish I would have heard that earlier in my career because you're so right, man.
Yeah, that's true.
It's coming from the right place, but still, that's where it sounds like things changed. And when you step back from the business started to develop because you were at that time, you still only had the one location, right?
yes.
So that stuff changes. Do you start to thrive? Do you start seeing the numbers go in the right direction? Tell me what happens next.
Yeah, so after that I took my time, spend more time with the family, and business sales start going up.
Man.
I mean, it's just every year, every 6 months or every year. First, it was like, oh, we wish we would make $700 a day in gross,
Yeah.
but suddenly that turned into double and then triple,
Man.
Yeah.
and it just happened kind of naturally.
What? Yeah, I started to cut you off, but like, why do you think that is?
Yeah,
do
I'm
you think
curious too.
that that's God doing what God does, and if you listen to your story, you were about to sell it, and it's just kind of a lot of things in life. If you just wait long enough, good things will happen. Or do you think you can point to something extremely
Marketing.
specific?
Was it a food
like,
item? What was different?
What do you think
What
that
happened?
was?
What
Yeah.
did that- because I was doing our marketing was I was doing everything marketing.
Uh-huh.
I can't wait
I
to
was-
hear Diego on your marketing.
I was doing the run to the bank, and
Yeah.
so it was
You're doing
owner doing
everything.
everything.
Yeah.
So everything was halfways.
Yeah.
So maybe flyers, maybe a little ad somewhere, or maybe the books, get into the books. But I think it was mainly I started getting popular, because of the greats. I was there all the time and make sure I always love a lot of respect for my customers.
Uh-huh.
And I always wanted to give them my best.
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
best. First it was make them the happy, and then the reward.
Yeah.
Not reward and the customer. No, it was the customer first, and then the reward.
Yes.
So we kept doing that over and over and over, and we started getting popular and popular because of the
That's
food.
awesome, man.
It was the food, and then it was the caring. And
Yeah.
I would look at all my customers in the eye and thank them. Thank you for being here. Thank you for your support. How can we do it better? And
Wow.
So
Man,
and I
that's
was
so
like,
great.
I would check on every table.
Yeah.
Every table. I didn't care if you were blue, green, red, I don't know, white, brown. I didn't care. Me,
Man.
it was like, it's like, hey, you gotta treat everybody with love and respect, and because they can make us or break us.
No question.
So the customer can make you or break you. Basically, more customers, more success. Little customer, I mean, very little success, and you
Man,
have
good
hard
for
times and
you.
hard time paying the rent, the bills, and
Yeah.
supporting the family. So you gotta love your customer. You gotta
Yeah.
respect it, and
Oh, man.
so yeah. I mean, so that's what we did. We after my third year, everything guys just started going. Yeah, and what you said, it was just. I think it was the economy got better, and then
Okay. Yeah.
but he was doing
Yeah,
this,
yeah, that too,
doing the right thing over
Yeah.
and over. I think the word got
I
out.
like that.
The word got out.
Doing the right thing over and over.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. I love that, man.
Because sometimes, like, I mean, we live in, especially now, and I'm sure you guys can relate to this, but we live in a world where everyone wants instant gratification.
Yes.
They want
Yes.
success instantly, right? When I listen to your story of you working in the fields at the age of 9 or 10,
Yes.
I don't have my own kids, but I do have an 11 and a 13-year-old that are at home, 2 girls that are my fiance's daughters. They're definitely not working. Let me just tell
Yeah.
you that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like just that work ethic and listening to the work
Yeah.
ethic, but doing good things over and over and over. I think that that's such a huge part of the story is
Humongous.
yeah. Is this keeping your head down, and I'm sure it was painful in the beginning, but eventually it started to pay off.
Yes. And then we can still grow more. I mean, we can do more super talk, but I was like, since my third restaurant, I was like, well, at first I just wanted to get out of the, when I was a little kid working at, in
Yeah.
Woodland or Yuba City area, I was like, I just want to go to work at a restaurant, cleaning the walls, cleaning the floors. Just get me out of this
Yeah.
environment.
Yeah.
And maybe be a supervisor. Maybe that was kind of, actually, I was going, maybe I'll just do the walls, do the floor.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I just want to, I want to
Amazing.
get out and explore.
Yeah.
So, and then after that, it was like, maybe I can supervise. And then after that, it was like, hey, I can be an owner. I'm going to shoot for being an owner. And then after that, maybe just one restaurant. And so we did one restaurant. Then another one came. And then another restaurant came. And after my third, I was like, after going through some
Of course.
hard times. And,
Of course.
where we lost our cars and the contractor did us wrong.
Yeah.
We had to use whatever we had to open the one on Calvine and finish the new Mac Road. I mean, we had to sell her car, my car,
Yeah.
all the money we had, plus loans on a home, second loan on a home.
Yep.
And then I wanted to quit. It was like I should quit. I mean, and then after that, and then okay, we got through that. We opened Mac, the new Mac, and the Calvine. I was like, oh, thank God, and everything was just. I mean, business was good. I mean, thank God for the customers and our product and our food and our service and the food that we were making the bills I mean, right away. But then after that, I was like, I didn't want to grow. Another gentleman came in and goes, hey, I got more locations that you can buy or whatever. And I was like, no, I don't want to grow because I don't have the intelligence, the team. I need. It's going to be tough if we grow.
Yeah.
We can grow. Sometimes in business, you get to a certain point where it's like, okay, I open 2-3 locations, or I want to. But are you ready?
Yeah.
That's what you got to ask yourself.
Good call.
Are you ready to? And I knew I wasn't ready, and I actually forced other 2 locations. Forced, 2 more, and I wasn't ready, and so. But actually, I didn't want to, and so I was like, now we don't want to grow till we're ready to grow.
Yeah.
So now that's what I told my boys and my team that maybe we can grow. I mean, we can find our way. Go to a bank. Borrow some money or whatever. But you got to make sure you're ready to grow. If you got the team and the intelligence and because to control, all those the other business or those bulls, like a business, 3 bulls is different from controlling 5. Imagine big bulls, or 5 elephants. You know? I mean, it's like an elephant. It's huge.
Yeah.
It's very powerful and big. So that's why we kind of right now we want to get better and get in different ways, and then we can maybe go for another growth spur,
Amazing. I know being a business owner isn't for the faint of heart. They see that you got 5 locations and you're doing so much for the community and everything like that, and putting out great product, but it's not linear. It's up and down. That first year was tough as you grew and all the uncertainty, and people don't see all the stuff in the background that it takes to get to the point that you guys are at right now.
Yes.
But here's the thing. You probably didn't. You had a big dream. I'm not sure if 5 locations was your dream back then.
No.
Probably not, right? So that might not have been there. But at the time in year 3, when you're ready to quit, if you saw a glimpse of what it would look like with 5 locations, you wouldn't even consider quitting at that time. It always makes me think that's the fork in the road where you could have taken a different route, and you would have missed out on all of this part where you get to this. So I just kind of love even revisiting that to show how much pride you guys should have in the fact that you've been through all the ups and downs to build what you've built.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
A lot
amazing.
of ups and downs.
Ups and downs, and then you're, raising your family, and and for us, it was important to be with be with our kids.
Yeah.
And do everything they had to do. Their sports, school, to be at every event.
Yeah.
And not miss out on any of that.
Let's actually stay right there. I heard you have some really studly kids. Let's talk about the three, who they are, what they do. You guys have produced some great products.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, well, the oldest is Julian.
Uh-huh.
Julian, now he's 30. But yeah, he was the first one, and then he would play basketball that was his favorite sport, basketball. So then 3 years after that came Diego.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's gonna be 27, and sports too. Then at third grade, he was like, "I want to play football."
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So we were like, "Oh, okay, football." But that would be he was in those I don't know, those teams that they do Saturdays. There are other games.
Okay.
So I'd be like, Saturdays is like I would have to be at work.
Yeah, it's
Friday,
busiest
Saturday,
day, right?
Sundays are our busiest days.
Yeah.
So I told him, I said, you know what? He wants to start playing football, but Saturdays I'm not gonna be able to work.
Man.
So I said, and I don't want to send him out with
Of
people
course.
to take them and bring them back, because then what's the point of
Yeah.
having them in sport if you're not gonna see them?
Exactly.
So he's like, okay, let's just do whatever you have to do. And I said, okay. So then, I wouldn't work Saturdays.
Mm.
And then,
Was Diego any good at sports? Was he good at football?
yes, he was very good at football. He tried basketball too, but yeah, his strong sport was
Amazing.
football.
Got a
and,
scholarship.
yeah,
and-
he went to play college football.
Yeah, man.
Worked hard all the I mean, since third grade, so that was really good.
Yeah.
Then I have after him, it's Danny. 5 years later, I had Danny, and he's a soccer player.
Mm.
He's 5 years old. He said, "I'm playing soccer," and
He knew.
he knew he was gonna play. And my husband would say, "No, try baseball." Try.
Yeah.
He's like, "No, soccer is my sport, and then soccer is traveling too."
Soccer is the craziest travel. I know any sport you can get into and travel like crazy, but when you're the highest of high end soccer,
Yes.
you're all over the place.
You're all over the
Yes.
place. Yeah. He
Wow.
is everywhere. And I mean, sometimes we'll go as a family
Uh-huh.
because they would say, okay, let's take it as a mini
Yep.
vacation.
Yep,
And
exactly.
then the boys could go because, then they started playing just high school. So it was different,
Uh-huh.
no weekends.
Yeah.
So then the weekends were Danny playing soccer. But yeah, and so Danny now he really loves soccer. So every time he would be doing it on Instagram and TikTok, and he put his games and everything out there. And then I had people. He's like, people are gonna call you from Mexico, and they want to talk to you and my dad. And you have
Mhm.
what do you mean? Yeah, because they want me to go over there and play. And we're like, it's like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
You're gonna go to another country? He's like, yes, I'm gonna do whatever I have to do.
Yeah.
I love.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So right now he's out there,
Where
he's been
where is
out
he
there-
for the people listening? Where is he
he's
playing right
in,
now?
right now he's in Guadalajara in
Mhm.
Chivas.
Playing for Chivas.
He's playing for
Chivas, yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. so-
Amazing.
You
Yeah.
guys don't miss.
I know, man.
Is this I'm kind of listening to your story. It's like when you said earlier, your dream was to come to America, and then your family was kind of like, well, we want to go back to Mexico,
Yeah, my mom and dad, yeah.
and you weren't wanting to go back,
No.
right?
no.
And now listen to this story. Now your youngest son is now in
Playing-
Mexico.
Yeah.
Exactly.
What was your honest answer on that? Were you kind of apprehensive, or were you like, really, why are you doing that? Or
Well, in a way, I was kind of, because I know where he was going. I mean, very important teams.
Yeah.
At one time, he was with Leon and Tijuana, and then he was with Leon from Guanajuato, and so he was in different important teams. I was like, yeah, I mean, whatever it takes,
Man,
yeah, whatever you have to go,
Wow.
he's a
here in the
pros pro.
U.S.
The only
or
thing
Mexico
he
or-
was only when he told me this, he was barely gonna turn 17.
Oh wow.
yeah,
Oh wow.
yeah.
So he's still like, he's still my
outta here.
my young guy, my young
Wow.
son, and I'm like, well, and I said, I mean, he drove here, but over there it's a whole different
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Oh,
So
yeah.
it just
Is it dangerous or like
it's just it's so many. There's no rules.
No,
I don't know.
exactly.
Oh, I guess people
Traffic,
don't follow. the
Yeah,
rules, so-
yeah.
But it seems like it's way more exciting than living out here in Sacramento. Like if I don't know, if I was, I don't know. I just
Now
want
he
to.
loves Guadalajara. Well, he loves where
Diego
he's at.
said that you guys are going to make an introduction so that I can go to a Chivas game. So I just want to make sure that that's
Puts it
Yeah,
on
yeah.
record.
Yes.
on
Let's
record.
do it.
That is amazing.
Yes.
That is amazing.
I'll go out there with my Super Taco gear on
I
too.
know,
Yeah.
right? How were they growing up? Did they play together? Did they fight all the time?
No, I guess
It was a
regular
boys, a house full of boys, man.
But I think we made them. They love each other very much.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
They miss each other.
Yeah.
So they're always connected.
Mm-hmm.
But I growing up, it was just they would
Yeah, they
fight.
weren't. I think they weren't like other brothers and sisters. They always beating up or
Yeah.
one of them is crying. With these guys, it's different.
Yeah.
They got along. They were like good friends.
Oh man.
Yeah.
It was rare when you used to hear something.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
I mean, that nobody crying, nobody hitting nobody. It was always kind of brotherly love.
love
It was
Yeah.
all
Yeah,
a
they
good
were-
relationship.
Yeah.
I love hearing
was
To
it.
this
perfect,
day,
I think.
To this day,
Yeah.
we get together and they're really, they want to be together.
That's
Amazing.
so awesome.
Amazing.
So real quick, I want to hear what are your roles now with the company? Like, obviously, what you guys have told us is you were working 7 days a week. You were having to get to a point where you kind of took a step back, focus more on your kids or just having that family time. And I'm imagining now both of you guys aren't working like crazy 60, 70 hours.
No.
So
What's it look like?
what does the
Yeah.
roles look like now, and what is your guys' responsibilities now?
Well, yeah,
You go
you-
first.
well, yeah, me, I'm there, but kind of trying to maybe prepare the future for my sons.
Yeah.
The business. That way they can maybe take over. They already kind of took over, but but I'm still there trying to do the best that I can for them to keep on going and maybe step to a different level.
Mhm.
Take it to a different level. So yeah, I'm like I'll do like 5-6 hours a day, moving from restaurant to restaurant and maybe meetings, but not so physical. It's more like
Good.
mental,
Mhm.
a little bit of physical, but very little. Yeah, oversee,
Yeah.
give ideas, be in meetings. Basically, I'm trying for them to kind of waiting for that moment for them to kind of that way I can move out. Maybe do part time or maybe only be in meetings in the
Yeah.
future. Yeah.
Oh, that would be awesome.
And myself, I just kind of do, just mainly like if I have to do paperwork, insurance, or they want to, want my feedback on something. I do go to the restaurants and, talk to our team but yeah, I'm trying to. I've been telling them I want to retire.
That's
and they're like,
awesome.
Mom, you still can't retire. But but I mean, you still, but I don't do any, if I need to, I would, I still would go in
Of
there
course.
and they tell me, when are you gonna work with us again? And
Mhm.
they want me to go, and I say, whenever.
Let's talk about something extremely important. This is going to probably make us all a little emotional right now, so I just want to prepare you. But let's talk about that red salsa. Okay. So what I want to know is I want to know the lineage, right? I want to know, was that the salsa from day one, or did you have to work your way up to that salsa? Because I don't know why this is. Let me just let's as far as Mexican restaurants on a whole, the one thing that I scratch my head on is I don't really think that there's a consistency with really amazing salsa. Would you agree with that?
I agree.
I think there's a lot of
it's tough.
mediocre salsas.
Yes.
Yes.
I got your attention right now. You're kind of like looking at me like you don't trust me, but you're like,
Yes.
but we can agree on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree.
There's something going
100%.
on. Like I can literally pour an entire cup of salsa onto my food and it just works.
Legit.
It's just it's not like super spicy, but it's so delicious. So when was that from day one or did that come later?
Yeah, that was kind of day one.
Oh,
We started
man.
with that salsa.
No wonder you have 5 locations
Yeah.
if that's what it's built on.
We want to, in the future, we want to put it in a jar
Yes.
and maybe sell it.
There
ship
it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
We're looking for supporters or investors, man.
Yeah.
Because we want to, sell in the internet, do different things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man.
But
Yeah.
yeah, so I think salsa is so important.
It is.
It is.
It is.
I mean,
Before the
you
food
could
comes
go to
out.
so many restaurants, but if the salsa is not, it just completes the plate.
Yeah.
And we have that experience even when we go to Mexico.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We go to restaurants and we're like, we eat and we're like, okay,
Yeah.
that's good, but the salsa, you need the salsa.
Yeah, you do.
Man, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
And I know the vision has changed and evolved over time, but what would you say if, in 2030, what does Super Taco look like? Ooh, looks over to the new era over
Yeah,
there
the
to-
new-
for a little. Maybe I should be asking him.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think really good. I mean, since he came back from college, my son was already here, but he's really, now that both of them are here, just putting all the systems in place that we didn't have. Because I used to do everything,
Yeah.
Facebook, whatever, Yelp. I
Yeah.
mean, I had to split myself in pieces to do. So now that they do, and then it's so important now, social media. and
Yes.
So just having them put more systems in place has made a big change.
Yeah, like I asked you earlier. Now I'm just gonna I'm gonna answer my own question, and then we're gonna switch spots and hear from Diego. But it is pretty fascinating that any place I'm at in the world, like I'm getting married in Oaxaca, which I'm very excited about. I was there in February.
Nice.
I'm excited
And
too.
like every trip that I've gone on, whether it be in the States or me just traveling across the world, I base my travels on food, right? And I feel like we live, there's so much connection, genuine connection that people have, that humans have with one another over food. It's just a natural way of connection.
Yes.
And usually when I'm planning my trips, anywhere I go, I pull up my cell phone, and I feel like that's just kind of where everyone starts.
Yeah.
Now, where I used to go is I would pull up my cell phone, and I'd go to a web, internet, Google. I'd do a Google search, and I would type in whatever food that I'm looking to enjoy at that time. But I think we've evolved through that. Now we're not even there anymore. Now people are grabbing their phones, just like, because I went to Oaxaca recently, and my fiance and I were like, okay, we have to go look at different wedding venues, but we're here to eat, right? We want to eat some really good Oaxacan food. And the first place we went to was Instagram, right? And you get to see based on photos and videos, and then not only that, but also who's following, that restaurant on those channels. And I think just using that story, it's pretty evident that that's where your guys' business has recently gone to as well. Would you agree with that? Just like how it's changed?
Yes, I think that's changed a lot. People, post your foods with videos. And so, yeah, I think it's a lot.
Mhm.
Changed a lot.
It could help. Well, it could make you or break you, but
Yeah.
most of the time, you know, if you do your best, do a good job, I mean, it's gonna help you a lot, you know, in your sales
Yeah.
and become popular in your area.
It allows it to get the word out quick when they have something that they love there and able to post it. It just gets to other people quicker. So you already know you have the base because everybody knows and loves your food, your product, and now the word could get out more. So
Yep.
I love it. You're exactly right. Things have evolved.
Yeah, it was like,
Yes, I
what
agree.
was it like before cell phones? Because I remember when I was, I think it's true. When I ate at Super Taco, let me just tell you how it all kind of went down. I was born and raised in Elk Grove. My mom and I weren't getting along, so to speak, and she said, "You need to go live with your father," because my mom and dad divorced when I was like not even 2 years old. He was living in South Sac, across the street from G Parkway, in a pretty nice little neighborhood. And I made all new friends. I didn't have any friends out there. And I just remember one of my buddies that I met, he was, like after high school, I was going to Rio Casadero High School. It's the continuation high school out off of Grand Staff, not too far from Mac Road.
Yeah.
And he's like, we're going to Super Taco, bro. And we pull up to Super Taco, and he was like, don't even look at the menu. Like, I will order what you're getting. And he ordered me a Super Taco. And I was like, man, I was like blown away,
That's so
man. But like, that's just kind of how it was. Like
Yes,
you
that's
did,
how it was.
you had somebody that knew about it, and they wanted to
Oh, yeah.
bring somebody. And kind of back to your point, just doing good after good after good.
Yeah.
But now it's like, man, like I can't even tell you, like me and this guy, we only see each other maybe a couple times a week at best. But how we communicate, how we show our love language for each other is we share food on Instagram with each
All
other.
the time.
And that's just kind of, it's like I kind of make the joke. It's like sports and food
Yep.
is kind of what my attention is on social media. And so it's funny. But
Yeah,
with
same
that be
here.
Dad, let's trade spots if you
Sure.
don't mind. You can push that out, the microphone, you can push it out.
There you go.
We're gonna bring Diego, do a swap, do like a special handshake or a big hug.
Man.
We
Yeah, man.
we will. By the way, I wanted to see if this is okay with everyone in here, the whole family. But one of the Sundays, Rene and I are gonna somehow carve out time on a Sunday where we can partake and have some delicious beverages at Super Taco.
Mhm.
So we're all gonna be in agreement on that.
Okay. Yes.
Because
We are.
Sunday, let's just get right into it. Because there's an event coming up this Sunday.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so this Sunday we'll be having a Cantina Sunday spring kickoff.
Cantina Sunday.
Cantina Sunday, right?
That
Yeah.
sounds fun.
Yeah, no, it is. It's the idea came about in September of last year. So what happened was our in-house DJ, his name is DJ El Mexican.
Uh-huh.
He was doing his own like reggae nights
Uh-huh.
at our patio on the 7131 Franklin Boulevard.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no marketing, no help, no
Yeah.
support, no team.
Yeah.
He was just kind of doing it for free and trying to help his business and get his word out. And we were just, allowing it because we like to support our
course.
community members and good people that want to do business with us.
Yeah.
And we saw that, and I was like, hey, like, I told my brother, I was like, hey, he doesn't have like any help.
Mhm.
Like, how can we help this guy?
Yeah.
Because he's using our space.
Yeah.
And he's playing music for free. Like people are coming out, very little, but like
Yeah.
people are coming out. I was like, why don't we put a team behind it, put a concept behind it that goes with our brand, and that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how Cantina Sunday came about.
Man.
And so DJ El Mexican is the main DJ. We have our MC, which is KL. He's a local R&B artist.
Let's go.
So if you guys have
Is that the one that's saying the national anthem? Or
that was Aaron Lee.
Okay.
So he's another shout out Aaron Lee. Yeah, he's another friend of mine that I grew up with.
Nice.
Yeah.
And he works very, very close with KL. That's actually how I got introduced to KL.
Wow.
So K's our R&B, and then he's actually the marketing brains. He's part of the marketing team for Super Taco.
Incredible.
So he kind of gave us that idea, and we obviously, he's like the ideas. We all put the ideas, and then I'm like my parents. We're the ones that put these ideas into action, right? Like the trompo. Right now we have a trompo, which is like the big gyro.
Wow.
So back to the event this Sunday, we'll have that big gyro back there, handmade tortillas. we'll have local artists like Aaron,
Mm.
Shane Q. He was on The Voice.
Yes.
He was the one that sang the national anthem.
Got
at
it.
the
You were
A's
at-
game.
yeah.
I don't know if you guys were at the A's game.
He
I,
was.
I was. I came a little late though. So,
So Shane Q
I was there.
was there doing the national anthem, so he'll be there to close up the show.
Incredible.
What time does it start and go till?
12 to 6.
So
Mhm.
12 to 6.
12 to
And you said
6.
tromba. What is that?
Trompo is like a Mexican gyro.
Okay.
Mhm.
It's like a big piece of meat.
Oh,
you
that's-
probably see it on the street.
Yeah,
Come on,
yeah,
we're,
yeah, yeah.
we're-
Give
we're
it-
talking just Al Pastor.
Al Pastor.
There we go.
I'm sorry. So we'll have fresh Al Pastor tacos and
So that's not something that you normally have.
no.
So this is like a special come to the Sunday.
This is like we just finished up a tour where we're bringing it everywhere. We're bringing the truck, and then the tour's ending back on the patio where it all started.
Man.
But every Sunday from 12 to 4, we're there, we're bumping. This one's just an extra special one, just because paying homage to all the work that we've done up to this point,
Yeah.
and all the people like my parents, the word of mouth that's kind of been involved. So we have some regular customers now, a part of it.
Incredible.
So we're just celebrating. I think every day is a blessing. So
Yeah.
we should celebrate every day.
Incredible. And you're going to have great weather too. Perfect timing,
Yes.
man. It's,
Right.
it's going to be great, man.
Right.
So,
Is there a name for those things that I've seen in the videos that you're pouring like a bottle of tequila in? And are those like generally split between like a group of people? What are those called?
those are for one.
So yeah, those. Yeah, I know, right?
I'm just playing.
No, definitely wouldn't allow that. Those actually come from Tequila, Jalisco.
Okay.
So that was where the idea came from.
Cantaritos, yeah.
So cantaritos, that's what they're called. Little cantaros. They're like
Mhm.
clay made
Clay
cups.
pots.
Yeah,
Or-
cups.
Okay.
Mhm.
And then that big one's the super cantaro.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So that one, like Rene said, is for one.
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. It's for like 8 people. It's like 12, 16 cocktails.
Man.
Come from it. It's almost a bottle. Yeah. So
It-
that's why you see the bottle.
Incredible.
So you're present on these Sundays and you're bartending and you're there. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I was bartending in the beginning.
Yeah.
It's like my dad said in the early stages. If you believe in something, you got to be in there. Buffing the, or carrying water, chopping wood, all
There
that
it
stuff.
is.
So
I love that.
it's so I was, and now that it's grown, because we have regulars now, I'm able to kind of just be there, make sure everything's under control, and make sure the marketing's on point, so we can get people in the doors.
Love it.
So
Love
I
it.
would say, and I want you to, I mean, you can kind of fill it in, but what is your passion for? You came back after playing college football,
Mhm.
and did you immediately plug into the business? And the second question is, what is your vision? Like, where do you want to take this? Because it sounds like you got a fire under your belly for it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's really them, like I have a really noble mission to retire them, like you guys were
I
hearing on
love
the
that.
show. They're kind of done with, and restaurant industry is not for the weak.
Yes.
I've learned that every year that I've been here.
Mhm.
It's always something new or something different, and it's every 30 minutes you're winning or losing.
Mm.
And I've been a part of a lot of winning cultures and a lot of losing cultures in my football career, and I know that this is a winning culture, so I knew I wanted to be here for sure, and I saw the potential that it had, because there were so many, like my mom said, there were so many systems and processes and culture, like mission, vision, core values, like basic fundamental business practices that we can implement
Mhm.
to just better the whole thing, So I said, man, my parents we're able to go on vacations, we're able to do anything, like my parents, they want to go to see me in Virginia tomorrow when I was out there, they could go.
Mhm.
So I was like, man, if they're able to do this, like, and they don't have any of this, like, imagine if we did,
Yeah.
And that was kind of what my brother Julian and I's vision was like, dude, if we can make this, like, structure this thing, it's gonna pop.
Wow.
So that was my noble vision, is to retire them, and that's the same thing with my brothers, and my little brother. He's on the same mission. He's like, I just want to be able to pay for everybody's things and take care of everybody, like so. And like my parents said, we all we're best friends, so
Yeah.
we're talking every day.
Yeah.
And that's something that's like a common goal that we all share. But my vision for the brand, is that what you're asking, Chris?
Yeah.
For the brand? Really to leave like a legacy here. Like
Mhm.
I think my parents built this brand up so well, and man, they just did all the hard work to get it to where it is right now. I'm like Rene said, I have the luxury, right, the money right now to play with it, like put it into marketing, put it into this, put it into that, just, have fun. And that's really what I'm like. My dad, we're in a meeting the other day. He's like, I just want you guys to have fun and be calm. I'm like, I am, Dad.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I am pretty calm. Maybe not 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
When I was barely getting introduced to all these administrative
Yeah.
duties. But man, I'm very calm, and I have like so much fun every day at Super Taco. So yeah, just leave a legacy here. If a CPG product comes about, just add more pillars to the business. That'd be great. Maybe franchise a different brand or the same type of brand somehow.
Mm.
But yeah, that's the big vision right now.
Love it. I love it. What was it like growing up, seeing your parents work that hard? From your point of view, we've heard it from theirs. How was it you observing that?
Man, it was you don't really notice when you're little. Like life is going
Yeah.
so fast, and they're there.
Yeah.
They're at the games. My
Mhm.
mom's at practice, walking around the track.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dad's definitely dad's not, 'cause
Yeah.
I understand he's the man of the house.
Yeah.
So, Dad, whenever he had to pick me up, he was an hour late or 30 minutes late.
That is messed up, Diego.
But he always made it.
Yeah.
Like he was never not. But he was busy.
Yeah.
He's a really busy guy, and I always knew that because he was always very, very, very much occupied until he got home.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you just see that, and even during the summers is when I would go with my mom to work or something. I would see what she's doing, and I'm like, man, like they do this every day. I'm
Every
doing
day.
this because I have fun, because I'm
Yeah.
bored and it's
Yeah.
summertime.
Because he
but-
wants money.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my mom would pay me like 10, 20 bucks a
Yeah.
day, and I'd be happy, And but yeah, I was just, it's going by so fast when you're little that you don't really realize it, and the way they were able to manage everything is just so impressive to me. you
Yeah,
know?
and I think I think because we didn't want, we wanted them to be happy.
Yeah.
And not our business take over like the family. So every summer, every time they were off, we would go on vacation.
Mm-hmm.
We would go for a week.
Good.
And that's something I think, and we would work, but it wouldn't, occupy any of their space.
Yeah.
So I think for some reason, I don't know. Sometimes I'm like, I did all this, now I think about everything I had to do
Yeah.
in one day, and I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't understand
did
how
you
I did
do
that.
it?
How did I do that? Now the day goes so fast that I don't feel like I have enough time, But yeah, kind of.
And Diego, I know it's impressive seeing you in your stature when you were in football compared to where it is now. You showed me that earlier, incredible shape, but who works out harder? It looks like your mom's in incredible shape as well. Who's putting in more work here?
I mean, I think over the years she's definitely she's beating me for sure. I mean, she's Superwoman. A lot of people call her that.
Yeah.
She's always working out.
That's amazing.
Mhm.
What an example. I
Yes.
just want to give you props.
Thank
That's
you.
all that I'm saying. That's why I just like, man. So what an example to give to your kids.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So yeah, man. I think we've already like touched on it, but I think it looks and feels like you have a passion for that topic that we talked about earlier, was the social media aspect and the
Mhm.
relationship aspect. So just kind of, it almost feels like that is a natural thing for you.
Mhm.
Is that something that is your older brother that you mentioned? Is he kind of in that same, like, where's your talent set and his talent set, and are they the same or are they a little different?
No, I think that's the good thing. Is whenever we have meetings, like all of our talents are very different. Did you forget your phone, Dad? Where's it at? Outside. Okay, sorry.
No, you're good.
So when we're in like those rooms, like this morning actually we had a meeting. We see things from different perspectives.
Mm-hmm.
Like, my dad, he ran the business based on feel,
Mm-hmm.
and experience. Same with my mom.
Mm-hmm.
She was a little bit more ahead, obviously, like my dad said, because she likes to look at numbers. She likes to look at different things. And I'm kind of more like my mom in that way, where I'm very like patient until I run out of
Yeah.
patience, you know?
Yeah.
So I like to study things. I like to
Mhm.
analyze. I think that just comes from being, getting a formal education.
Mm-hmm.
Is
Mhm.
you make deadlines, you have
Yep.
times to study, boom, test time. Now it's time to show if you've learned or not.
Yeah.
Um, and social media, I mean, I kind of grew up with social media, right? I
Exactly.
mean, Instagram and all these, Twitter, all this stuff, now X, all this stuff
Mhm.
came about when I was in like 7th, 8th grade. Facebook.
Yep.
I was playing like the games on Facebook.
Yeah. Yeah.
It wasn't even like
Yeah.
it wasn't even like a real like
Yeah.
social media. Or I would like poke people. I think back in the day, you
Yeah.
just poke people.
That's funny. I
I used to
forgot
poke my
about that.
I used to like just poke my cousins and stuff.
That's funny.
So I think I grew up in it. Like
Comes natural.
It just came
Yeah.
natural.
Yeah.
And with sports,
Mhm.
you got videographers on you all the time.
Yeah.
And I didn't know I was gonna get into the videography side, but
Mhm.
I actually do have like a passion for it. My parents got me randomly a drone like a few
Mhm.
years ago. I don't
Mhm.
use it as much as I should anymore, but I kind of have like a passion for it. And then, but I never thought I was gonna be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
I will say that because I was a lineman.
Yeah.
We don't get any attention.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
You're
We do
right,
all the
man.
work.
You're right, man.
We do all the work, but we don't get none of the
I
love,
got some buddies because at Sac State and they were on the line, and so I hear it all the time. And you guys don't get the appreciation that you
No.
deserve. You're in the trenches.
You're doing all the work.
Exactly.
And my brother was more traditional marketing. So when I got here, he was very much like building posters and
Mhm.
like
Got it.
making sure like there were signs at the store, making sure the menus are up.
Mm-hmm.
But since like you guys said, I grew up in this and I saw where this market was heading, or like where people, right?
Mhm.
I have great mentors like Sean P. Walchef.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Sean. That just really were bringing things to light to me that were like everybody's on their phones right now, guys.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If
Yeah.
you're not a business owner,
Thank you.
same with your guys' real estate company, same with Legacy Lounge, like you guys are on people's phones,
Yeah.
and that's the most powerful tool right now is like, and like Rene said, it's there, it's free, it's the
Mhm.
cheapest commercial you can make right now.
It is.
Yep.
Versus traditional TV, people are spending a lot more. I believe we haven't done a formal commercial before, but we do mini commercials, and
Yep.
that's where the people are. So I seen that and I was like, well, this is the path that we need to go. I tried doing it myself at
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Can't.
Yeah.
I like anything done without a team is it's you can't. I mean, it just
Yeah.
won't be executed how it
Exactly.
should be.
Exactly. That's why sports is such a huge background when it comes into business, man. It really is. You bring that part of it. You've seen how they work, and they banked everything on the team as well, right? Everything was built around putting trust in the team. But now you see the bigger picture of a football team worth of people is what it's going to take you guys to the next level. So you understand that that's your basis, So that's awesome, man.
Right.
That's awesome.
You guys have built an incredible legacy, and you use the words "what a noble." I love that
Mhm.
word that you use.
Yep.
Getting able to retire your parents, and we're gonna support you guys along the way, and I'm gonna do my best to show off to all of my Mexican friends that I'm gonna come to one of the Cantina Sundays. It might be this Sunday. I'm gonna wear my Chivas jersey, right? But I'm gonna walk into the place like I own it. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, these are my family right here. The owners here. When we came today, Diego was very gracious,
Oh, amazing
and
time.
it was awesome. I wanted to just kind of give you a rundown of what we ordered, but we had carne asada super taco.
Mm-hmm.
A chicken super taco.
Mhm.
We tried the quesadilla,
Yeah.
and we also had to get a big old plate of nachos, and it was absolutely phenomenal.
Hey.
Thank you.
So shout out to you guys. Before we sign off, Renee's going to hit you with one question before we sign off.
We always end asking, what does legacy mean to you? We'll start.
Legacy. I don't know, well, something that you built.
Yeah.
Yes.
To be known as, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I think
That's exactly it. That's
right.
awesome.
Okay.
Awesome. What does legacy mean to you, Diego?
Yeah, I mean I'm piggybacking off my mom, but it's like, what are you leaving behind
Mhm.
that others will remember you for?
Yeah.
Because there's a few things we get left with when we leave this earth,
Yeah.
and what's the legacy that you're leaving? What's the story that
Mm.
you're leaving behind?
Mm. You guys have built something incredible, and it's still on the way up. But you know, people know you for the personalities and your dad and how personable he was to build it. So, just absolutely amazing, and I'm glad we get to share this story with everybody out there. Just continued success for you all. Seriously, thank you so much
No, thank you
for being in
guys.
the
Thank you
lounge.
guys for having
Likewise,
us.
yeah.
Of
Shout
course.
out the Legacy Lounge.
Awesome,
Tune in.
awesome, you guys. We out.